I'm sure you will agree that any one of us that's had any ounce of enjoyment from any video game, from any console, owes a huge debt of gratitude to this brother right here, the grandfather, the godfather of video games, and it's Ralph Henry Baer, or Rudolf Heinrich Baer, who passed away last weekend. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for what you've given the world in terms of enjoyment through video gaming. Greetings one and all, this is Rhythmworks and welcome to my channel with a retrospective of my personal gaming year of 2014. Now, as every PS4 gamer knows, the PS4 was released in November, and I, as well as millions of other people, was high on anticipation in waiting to get our hands on the little beauty, and also waiting to find out how games would look on our own personal TVs. I mean, we all saw it on the launch videos, we all saw it on E3 at the press conference and what have you, on YouTube videos and streams around the world, but it was nowhere near coming close to actually having our own personal experiences with it. So in the anticipation, not only did I order the bog standard PS4 package, as you see there, but I also bought extra controller and the camera as well. I know there was issues with like the Kinect with Xbox and people not really having no great need for it, but I didn't want to miss out on anything, do you know what I mean? And I decided I had the money at that time and I just didn't want to not buy anything, and then later on I won't be able to afford to buy certain peripherals with certain games that I know that I would love to play. So I just bought everything in haste, and that was that. Not only that, yep, I bought the PS Vita as well. I mean, who would have thunk it? I mean, my eyesight's not that great, and it was kind of silly for me to even think that I would get into the handheld market, so to speak. But I just think it's just laziness on my part to update my eye test. I mean, I find it hard to actually, look at a smartphone these days. But having said that, it's just down to me being lazy with my eyes, because I look at screens all day long, all evening long, all week long with my work and my recreation. So it is important for me to fix my eyes. So that's what I'm going to do. But having said that, I'm going to get into the Vita thing a little bit later on. Now back to the PS4. Now, the games that I had purchased in between the release and today are as follows, and they are in no particular order. I bought Destiny, Sniper Elite 3, The Last of Us Remastered, Metal Gear Solid Ground Zero, Far Cry 4, Monopoly Family Fun Pack, Grand Theft Auto 5, Battlefield 4, Call of Duty Ghosts, Killzone Shadowfall, and Watch Dogs. Now, out of all those games, I'm going to give you my personal game of the year out of those titles. And bearing in mind there are many more titles and it can be debated, argued, or even questioned, but I'm totally giving you my opinion as to my personal game of the year from the games that I bought out of my pocket. And the game is, yep, you guessed it, Far Cry 4. Now, the game that came close upon release, believe it or not, for me, was Destiny. It was simply because of the different modes of the game. Now, it can be argued by a lot of people that it's by no way game of the year compared to other games, but certain genres other people play, certain genres I don't play. But like I said, it still relates to my personal collection. Now, with Far Cry 4, I have a personal affinity to this game, to this franchise. As people know, or you might not know, Far Cry 3, I repeat again, was the game that actually got me into first-person shooters in the first place. Prior to that, it was Uncharted all the way. And other shooters, yeah, granted, that were third-person. But primarily, from a third-person perspective, it was Uncharted. But Far Cry 3 rather, got me hook, line and sinker into the whole first person shooter genre. So as a game, I totally enjoyed it. Totally enjoyed it. My only thing was that they didn't really use a lot of Pagan Min as the antagonist, you know, to bring more depth, bring more darkness to the piece. But it's all good, you know. For me, it's all about the mechanics and the gameplay above anything else. And Far Cry 4 done that and carried on doing that from Far Cry 3. So that, in my opinion, was my personal game of the year. It has been a trying time on my pocket, I've got to tell you. Now, let's say that each game on average cost £45, barring the season pass. We're looking at, let me see, 90, 180, 273, 60, 450, 490. So that's nearly £500 worth of games I've already bought. And the one thing that I've learned from that is that I have to be more frugal with my purchases, for the simple fact that in the case of Battlefield 4 in particular, even though I was new to the series, and although I was relatively new in the Call of Duty franchise, even though I played Modern Warfare 2, but I was absolutely new and green to the Battlefield franchise, I felt a sense of duty to buy the season pass, i.e. the premium membership, as part of the game. But I found that I was playing the bog standard Battlefield 4 maps more than I was playing the premium maps. So when I checked it, was more or less a waste of £30. And, you know, and that's not I'm not slagging off the game for that. It was just my will that enabled me to take out £30 and pay Amazon for that. But as a result, I realized that I could have still had the same amount of fun with the same amount of bog standard maps that was available from the day one release. That's the point I'm making. And the same thing with Call of Duty. But out of the two of them, I'm more into Battlefield than Call of Duty. So that is more or less that. I really have to make an informed decision as to what games I'm going to buy in 2015. What, if any, DLC I'm going to purchase as well. Because some of the games, without a question, yeah, I will buy the season pass, without a doubt, without a question. But there are some games that I just have to think long and hard, or short and quick, as to if I'm going to buy any DLC, or in fact, what kind of DLC I'm going to buy. So those are in question, because I can't be spending so much money on games and be disappointed by them, you know, because of the fact that we're paying for PS Plus subscription and the internet and electricity, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. So everything has to kind of work together for me to enjoy my games and have my money's worth of the games that I'm buying and I'm playing. It is really important, because right now, times are hard and times are tough, you know, and it's important for me to feel happy in my leisure time rather than feel miserable because I wasted money playing a game that I just don't like. So it's with that, I'm going to bring you guys forward to my anticipation of the games that has caught my attention. And first up we have Evolve. Now this game, I was fortunate to have participated in the big alpha. Unfortunately, it didn't work properly the first time around, but that's been the common thing with a lot of games of late this year. So nothing really surprises me in the technical department anymore. But however, when the game got up and running, I quite enjoyed it. My thing is that they need to implement a lot more things in it to justify the price. But the 4v1 battle mode I do like, and it is something that I'm definitely going to give a lot of regard to. Whether I will buy it as my first purchase, who knows? I doubt it, but it's in the radar. Okay, next up, we have Mortal Kombat X. Now, this game kind of woke me up after downloading Injustice, to be honest with you, because of the whole connection with the makers of Mortal Kombat. I played Mortal Kombat from the PS1 days, and I was a huge fan of the Mortal Kombat franchises back then, but then when it got into the next generation and the fatalities and stuff, it just got a bit ridiculous for me. And also the fact that I wasn't really too much into the side-scrolling fighting games, because when Fight Night Champion came around now, it just rendered all of that null and void to me. It wasn't even an afterthought, those kind of games, because when Fight Night Champion came in, that was it. Fight Night Round 4 rather, because that was the game that really got me into the series big time. But it's just the need to play a fighting game, and a fighting game of some quality. And with Injustice, it just kind of reignited the sparks that I had for Mortal Kombat back in the day. So this is a game I'm going to give regard to also. Is it going to be a quick out of the wallet purchase? Who knows? I don't think so, because there's so many other games that deserves that accolade. But anyway, next up is The Order 1886. Now, when I saw this game previewed on E3, it was an automatic, yes, I am getting this game. Definite. But then when I found out, like months and months and months, and this is probably through lack of research on my part, that this was a single player game, I wasn't really too hot on it. Because now I'm paying for the privilege of playing online. So I want to maximize my gaming by playing online with as much online friendly games as possible. Now, don't get me wrong, I like a good one player game, single player, single story mode. I love all of that as well, but I feel sometimes by playing a game specifically for a single player will kind of devalue the game's price and the game's worth. So it has to be a game that I have to play and finish pretty quick to get my money's worth, if or when I want to trade it in. More the latter than the former. So that's where it kind of has the factor with the game. But the look of the game, with the first Werewolf trailer, yeah, people were, they watched that, and that seemed to be the only gameplay video that was around. So I think people were getting a bit bored of it. But then there was another trailer that came out recently from the PlayStation Experience that just woke everybody up again. And I like games that they don't ram different things down your throat, to kind of force you to keep awake, as it were, So with The Order 1886, definitely on my radar. Is it going to be a quick out of the wallet purchase? I don't know at this point. It's hard to say. Battlefield Hardline. Now, this game, in my personal opinion, I think is going to push aside Grand Theft Auto 5. Simply because everyone has played Grand Theft Auto 5 to death. And even like the new adopters of the game, I think some will stick with it, some will move on from it. Me personally, as a gamer that has played and leveled up high enough on Grand Theft Auto 5 from the PS3 version, I now feel a bit, I feel a bit tired of the game, simply because I have to start up the missions all over again, and it's just something I'm not motivated in doing. I just want to get into some quick mission action with my online character. But I find that the same habits are still formed by other players of the game when I get into Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PS4, and that kind of pisses me off. It's like, what the fuck am I going through this shit again? And I just can't get into it. If you look on my channel, there's only 2 videos of Grand Theft Auto gameplay in that series, but I just can't be arsed, But don't get me wrong, it's one of the best open world games out there so far, but my headspace and my gut and my thumbs and index fingers cannot get to grips with the controller to give it much attention these days, But with Battlefield Hardline, I'm on that, definitely, without a doubt, because I've been converted to Battlefield, and I can safely say I'm not really moving from that. Is that a game I'm gonna purchase quick out of the wallet? Yep, definite. With the season pass, well, that's another thing, as I discussed before, with season passes and DLC. But as a bog standard purchase, you bet. Next up, Star Wars Battlefront. Now, if people have been watching my videos for quite a while, they will have noticed that from the early days of my channel that I was not a big fan of space shoot 'em ups at all. I I tried out Dust 514. I tried out what's the other shoot 'em up, man? I can't even remember right about now. But I did say on the video that nah, I'm not feeling this, not feeling it. I think it's Fuel. Is it Fuel? Dust? I can't remember, but it was a game that came out last year, and I said on the video that I'm just not feeling the space shoot 'em ups at all. And somebody actually gave comment to the video and said, look, I understand what you're saying, but once you get into a space shooter that you like, you will want to try other aspects of the genre, I guarantee it. And he was right, because Destiny was really the game that got me into the sci-fi shooters, the space shooters as it were. And it had to take a game like Destiny, a AAA title of that genre, to even prick my ears up, much less open my eyes wide. And for the amount of time that I've played Destiny, I've enjoyed it enough to want to play Star Wars Battlefront. So is that going to be an immediate purchase? I don't know at this point. Who knows? Next up, Tom Clancy's The Division. Now this game safely falls under the take my freaking money now. It falls under that category without a doubt. I mean, come on, man. You know, Tom Clancy's games, they've just got a thing about them that creates so much interest, and the fan base for Tom Clancy's games is wide and deep, you know. And for me, this is a third-person shooter. It's an open world shooter. It looks different, and from the response of people that's actually played the game in E3 and Gamescom and the like, it is definitely a game that I'm gonna get. I was turned on to it by a comment. It was like a comment above the gamer tag of my friend on the PS3. I'm thinking, The Division, what the hell is that? Looked that up and it was like, yeah. It has the same vibe that The Last of Us gave me, put it that way. And is this a game that I'm gonna buy straight off the bat? Fuck yeah. Next up, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. I think the easiest question to ask is, who ain't gonna buy it? Next up, Tom Clancy again, Rainbow Six Siege. Now, this game reminds me a lot of The Last of Us Survivor mode, but this is more intense. It's a 5v5, one life shooter versus shooter game. And I saw the original trailer. Granted, the commentary was a bit scripted, but it was kind of giving you the vibe and the flow of the game. And it's a very interesting game to look at. They implemented the leaning mechanics in the game as well, which to me, you know, was no great shakes, but it's nice to know that there's another aspect of the mechanics that can work in your favor. But yep, I'm buying that without a doubt. No doubt whatsoever. Next up, and last but by no means least, Hideo Kojima's next masterpiece, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Now, there's going to be people who like the game, people who love the game, people who are somewhat interested in the game, and die-hard, hardcore fans of Metal Gear Solid that's going to play the game, without a doubt. For me, the last game in the series that I played was Metal Gear Solid 4. Out of all the series, I think I've missed 2. And apparently, by the fans' reckoning, the 2 I missed were the 2 that was worth playing the most. So it's a mistake I'm not going to make again. But after playing Ground Zeroes, I think this game, out of all the other games that I'm anticipating, this one's going to have a real big learning curve to it. But I think it's a game you really going to have to stick with, even though I'm a fan of the series, and even though there are hardcore players of the series as well. I think it's a game that everybody's going to have to come to grips with again, you know, to really enjoy this iteration of the series, you know. So straight out of the wallet, hell yeah. Bit of a learning curve, like I said, but it's gonna be worth it. The story mode, the multiplayer, there is just so much deliciousness in this game, man, I can't tell you. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a retrospective of my gaming year thus far and my anticipation for my gaming year next year. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, and I almost forgot. I forgot to tell you about my Vita purchases. Sorry about that. But yeah, I bought the Vita as well, like I said in the beginning of the video. And the following games that I bought was Unit 13, Uncharted Golden Abyss, Killzone Mercenary. Those were the three main games that I bought. Alongside the PS Vita bundle, I got Little Big Planet and also Tearaway. Little Big Planet I delved in. Tearaway I hadn't played at all. Up to now I hadn't played. But like I said, it was just simply laziness on me getting my eyes checked again, why I haven't played the game as much. And I mean, I do wear glasses to read and stuff, but it's just wearing glasses to play on the Vita that's kind of got on my nerves, so to speak. But is it something that I'm going to get rid of? No, I have got to get my eyes sorted in order for me to enjoy the things at close range, the PS Vita included. So it's with that, yeah, done deal. And as always, you know the coup. Whatever the game, whatever the console, whatever the genre, whatever the media, happy gaming. That's what it's all about. Happy gaming, ladies and gentlemen. And until I catch you guys on the next one, Magan.